Hari Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta jana kalyane niratam karunamayam namami chinmayam devam sadgurum brahma vidwaram. Om Sri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacham Malam Sharirasya Cha Vaidyakena Yopakarottam Pravaram Muninam Patanjali Pranjalina Natosmi. Hari Om. We are in the last pada of Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, Kaivalya Pada. Kaivalya Pada is the philosophical extension, elaboration of Sankhya philosophy and its utilization in yoga. In the last session, we saw that the karma is of different types. A Shukla karma, a Krishna karma, a Krishna karma, and a Shukla Krishna karma. A bad deed, a good deed, a good bad deed, and no good, no bad deed. Yogi, when he performs his karma, he does it neither for the good of it nor for the bad of it. And then we saw that a Shukla, a Krishna karma is the only karma that will not bind. Rest all karmas bind. Even the Shukla karma binds. Punya karma binds. Dharma karma binds. Then why should we be doing dharma karma or the punya karma at all? The only primary and secondary schooling is not enough to become a graduate. If we do only primary and secondary schooling, we will not be called as a graduate. However, no graduate can reach graduation unless he completes the primary and secondary schooling. In the similar analogy, Krishna karma, bad deed, adharma, has to be abandoned completely for sure. From the Krishna karma, we move on not to a Shukla, a Krishna karma, but to the Shukla karma. From the bad deed, I want to enter into Nishkama karma territory. It is impossible. Impossible. Why? Because the only force that can propel us into the orbit of a Shukla, a Krishna karma or the Nishkama karma is Sattva Guna. A person who is doing bad deed is having least possible sattva guna and major rajo and tamo guna. So when we stop doing bad deeds or adharma and start doing dharmic karma, punya karma, we are inculcating sattva guna in us. So the gradation is from adharma to dharma to nidharma. Rajatama guna to sattva guna to nistraigunya. Then the question comes as to why at all these bad deeds are happening at my hand. I'm just not been able to live without Krishna karma. My Rajoguna is not coming under my control. My Tamoguna is not coming under my control. Why not from tomorrow onwards, I will do only Sattvaguna and very quickly I will upgrade myself. That is one question. Second question is, if the vasanas are going to be there forever for my karma which I have done, and again, karma, vasana, everything is related to gunas. So my aim is to become dharmi, punyavan, sattva guna dharaka. But for that, I must know what is happening to the vasanas. Because the road to reach the higher levels of sattva guna goes through proper dissection of karma and vasana. Now, vasana already has been told that it is ashisho nityatvat. If vasana is nitya, then how can I destroy it? Because one sutra says ashisho nityatvat, that means vasana is forever. Another sutra says that ashraya phala hetu etc. if we just remove, then you can destroy the vasana. So is vasana anitya or nitya? Desire is inherent in the nature, in universe, or it is destroyable? And where does it go when you destroy it? Now we are entering into a little subtler discussion. Subtler meaning, we are all used to solid liquid gases, something which can be felt, like the body, like the cheek, like the nose, like the object, like the wood, like the tree. But desire is not something which can be made tangible like this. I have a desire. All right, you can tell the content of the desire, but how does desire look like? There is no look for it. That means it is intangible. But the rule of Sankhya philosophy is nothing in this world is there which is not trigunatmaka. So the solid object which we feel as solid, such as a wood block, if we keep on dissecting, going down towards the atomic level, subatomic level, we will ultimately end up at a stage where there are only vibrations left. That means all that which appears around us, howsoever solid it may be, like a wall or a stone or a tree or a man, everything is organic, meaning divisible down the line to carbon, maybe down the line to atomic particles, maybe down line to subatomic particles, maybe going down to the positrons, maybe going down further to ultimately the vibratory state of minutest particles. And then coming to a level where they are sometimes vibrating as energy, sometimes as matter. So physics itself agrees with the fact that everything is nothing else but the vibratory form. So the matter and the energy in the interconvertible form are constantly in dance with each other. That is the essential nature of all physical things. This is what the physics says. If that is the case, then a stone and a wood and a desire will also have the same structure. It sounds a little difficult to digest. How can desire be same as a wood? Because wood is a trigunatmaka, desire is also trigunatmaka. Sankhyan Tattvajnana has been so advanced that the nature of things that are perceptible, the material things in the world, have already been deciphered by the Munis as nothing else but the combination of the trigunas. These combinations, how many are there? The combinations are impossibly limitless. In one combination of trigunas, the thing appears as gold. In one combination of trigunas, thing appears as thought, vritti. In one combination, it appears as water. In one combination, it appears as fire. So it is constant combination, recombination of the trigunas that different things are created. And this is going on as on a continuing basis for at every moment. That is why everything is changing. Then comes the question that where do my vasanas go? Where do they reside? I desired to be king this birth. Yesterday only I decided I should be like a kingly person, handsome, with a lot of power, a lot of wealth. The desire has been done. There is a thought in the mind, the vritti has come. This vritti which is projected outside, that means whenever you think, it is projected outside. The projected vasana does not die. Why? There is no death. Those who are students of engineering or thermodynamics would agree with the fact that the sum total of everything in a system remains the same. The interchangeability may happen, but the sum total of matter and energy always remain constant within the system. Now the vasana that is projected goes up there somewhere around in the akasha. It is called akashika records. Now those vasanas of mine of becoming a king, which I thought yesterday, are thrown upon this akashic record somewhere. And when I enter into a particular karmashaya ukta janma jati, if that karmashaya propelled janma or ayu jati and bhoga is proportionate to becoming a king, those vasanas will be brought back there and combined with that particular life, and then I shall behave in the kingly manner, not like an animal, because my vasanas of being a human being will come, not my vasanas of becoming a jackal. So if I am going to be born in multiple yonis henceforth, after 1001 births, I may be a dog. Now, where are those vasanas of proportionate to becoming a dog lying? They are lying in the akashic records. That means the past, the future, and the present, is it really present or not? The time which we know as three aspectful, the past, atit, vartaman, anagata, anagataha, yet to come, the future, are they really exist like that? On the earth, right now where you are sitting, we know Ganga is existing. But do we see Ganga here? We can't. Why? inability of our visual apparatus and mind to perceive Ganga right here where you are sitting is the reason why Ganga is not being seen. But is Ganga not there right now? It is there. Taking the same analogy, the past, what we call past, is nothing else but imperceptible present. That which comes in front of me is present. That which hasn't come in front of me is future. That which came in front of me and moved away is past. But the division of past, future, and the present is completely artificial because I am not able to see all the three aspects. The spectrum is wide. I'm able to see the film in between. I call it present. That is the reason when the yogi ascends the higher levels of consciousness, he is able to see the past and the future simultaneously. And for that matter, it is not a past and future for him. He says unmanifested thing and manifested thing and manifesting thing. Trikala Jnana. Referring to that, Patanjali Maharaj is giving the sutra, Atita Anagatam Swarupataha Asti Adva Bhedat Dharmanam. This is something which we need to understand. There is no past, there is no future. There is no present. It is all a continuous flux of events. What events? The events like this is a mug or a cup, presently visible to me because of assemblage of umpteen number of subatomic atomic particles, assuming a particular color. I call this a rupa as a cup or a mug. Now what happened is, at present, this particular Prakriti has assumed a particular shape. That shape is perceptible by me as human beings as a red mug. Now, same thing if it is given to a dog, he may not perceive the red color. He may perceive these as something different. The utility itself of the mug or the cup is not known by samskara to the rat. So for the rat, this is just an object, colorless object, because he can't see the color, perhaps. So this particular object, what it is made up of? This is made up of dharma. Dharma means character. That which distinguishes a particular thing is called dharma. What is a pashu dharma? Pashu dharma is to attack anybody who comes closer. That means this is a tendency exhibited by that particular organism. So each and every object, sajiva or nirjiva, sachetan or achetan, is exhibiting some character. This character is called dharma. So this dharma and dharmas get assembled at a particular place and object manifests. For example, Kathinya, toughness. This is tough. This is not brittle. This is one dharma of the cup. If I take instead of this a thing like this, a tissue paper, malleable, I can fold it. This is a dharma. That means different dharmas, characters come together and an object exhibits one or multiple dharmas. The one which holds multiple dharmas is called dharmi. I am a dharmi of a manushya gana. What are my dharmas? I am usually less than 6 feet in height. I have 2 hands to these things. I can move my arms. I can walk around. These are my dharma. I am the dharmi. So what happened? This movement of the fingers is one dharma, which was existing somewhere. It came together, got attached to a something called an arm. The arm got attached to this. So Bhuta Sanghata, Panchamahabhuta came together, took dharma into it, and a Manushya was formed. That means assemblage of dharma forming a dharmi gives a particular shape and character to that particular thing, to which we call object or subject. Now the question is, after I no more remain this dharmi, I am dead, I am gone, where do I go? The Pancha Mahabhutas goes to Pancha Mahabhutas, that is what we say. But where do these dharmas go? I am able to move around. This movement is a dharma. Where did it go? Pancha Mahabhutas are easy to understand. They will go in the earth, water, whatever it is, Pancha Mahabhutas. What about my other things like my vichar, my ability to move? These are also the dharmas. Intangible. Where do they go? They do not go anywhere. They lie there in the akasha. And wherever they lie there in the form of past. Why? I can't see them. My inability to see what has already disappeared, I call it past. It is actually not a past. The flow of Prakriti with umpteen billions and billions of things with permutation and combination of dharmas is constantly evolving since the time unknown, anaditva, and is continuously marching forward with different combinations and formation of new dharmis and dharmas. That is why we do not know why two galaxies traveling at a speed of 1500 kilometers per second come together and collide with each other, throwing again millions of stars, creating black holes. We don't know the purpose. We can't even see that. Meaning what? The ability of ours to know, to cognize is limited. The ability to cognize everything comes to the yogi because he transcends the limit of the intellect. That means intellect alone can be refined, but will have always a limitation. Why? Because intellect itself is also a dharmi, part of Prakriti, Jada. Whatever is Jada, howsoever refined it may be, a stone and a buddhi is not comparable. Buddhi is far superior to stone, but yet buddhi, being the best possible, most transparent, translucent, most capable part and organ, is still a Jada. So it can be developed to know a lot of things, but its ability to know everything is limited because it is a Jada. A servant can become extremely competent, but he cannot be a king. That is why Adhva Bhed is the phrase used by Patanjali. Adhva means time. The whole thing of Prakriti we are not able to see because of Adhva Bhed, division by time, past, future, present. We have unfortunate curse that our intellect is limited to the present. We are not privy to past and to future. The yogi is. And that is why when the Adhva Bheda is there, we are restricted, but the yogi is able to see the past and the future. And the first thing he sees is, what are his vasanas and where are they? What are the vasanas which are yet to come? What are the vasanas which have already been upbhog, has already been completed? So he comes to know their placements in the subtlest form. Now imagine in a room to see multiple things with the eyes, it is possible for us because with one glance, we are able to see a lot of things in a room. But imagine in Prakriti, intangible thing like desires and vasanas being perceived, cognized by the mind of a yogi. For that, you require a yogi to be at the highest level of consciousness. Every time the boundary of consciousness is pushed outside, more things come under the light. More and more, more and more. From this sampradnyatata to you move towards the asampradnyatata. The expanse of the yogi sitting at one place goes to the boundaries that are unimaginable. And that is why not only he comes to know Atita Anagata and the Vartamana, but he knows the direction in which the Prakriti is changing. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was sitting on the couch. He looked at the Narendra and everything got unfolded for him. He could see Narendra from where he has come, from where he is going. And he told him, you will be a teacher. And Narendra said, impossible, sir. I shall never do that. And Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Thakur said, your bones will do it because I can see it, you becoming the world leader and the world teacher. There was a small anecdote that came regarding Gurudeva, that in one of the yogic exercises, Gurudeva, because of some fault in the pranayam, started becoming more hungry and he was eating lots of food, but he was not getting satiated. So he went to Shivananda Maharaj, of course the Guru, and asked him what to do. What did Shivananda Maharaj say? Go to Ma Anandamaya and ask her. How did he come to know that she should be going to Anandamaya Ma? He could see in the future that for this problem, the yogini of the highest order, Anandamaya Ma, shall be giving the direction to Gurudeva on this subject. Imagine the one who initiated Gurudeva is asking his own disciple to go to Tapovan Maharaj for the studies. How did this happen, sir? Why would it happen? It has rarely happened. Because Atita Anagata is already known to the yogi. Shivananda Maharaj was yogi of highest order. That is why he knew that this particular roop that has come in front of him in the form of Balakrishna Menon or the Chinmayananda now needs to get his further progression at that point. And at that point, he's going to get the realization, and that is the end of him, because that is where he's going to completely destroy the avidya and go out of this prakriti forever. This is called Trikala Jnanata. And all this happens simply because everything that you have in the world, the dharma, the dharmi, object, the subject, the thoughts, the vrittis, the mind, the intellect, everything is trigunatmaka. That is the 13th sutra. Te vyakta sukshma gunatmanaha. Te means all those dharmas which are manifested are nothing else but subtle trigunas. These trigunas, with their continuous combination, recombination, they create new dharma. The dharma that is created by the gunas may be perceptible to you, may not be perceptible to you, depends upon which species, which dharmi you are. If you are a human dharmi, manushya janma, you will be able to test certain things. You can smell, but you will have limitation. If you are a Shwana Dharmi, your smelling ability will be very high. A dog can smell 150 types of different smells. We cannot more than 7. What is the difference? The ability of the dog to smell 150 different types of smells is because of its apparatus given to him as Dharmi, can cognize them. That means One apparatus can cognize 150 types of smell. One can cognize only one type of smell. One cannot cognize the smell. The stone cannot cognize the smell. What it means is, what you are endowed with shall define the limit or the restriction of what you would know in the universe. And like fools, we are very happy doing PhDs and doctors and engineers that we got a lot of knowledge. It's a completely particulate knowledge of secular type that we are talking. Getting deeper knowledge of one particular thing and getting the wider knowledge of all the things are completely two different things. The depth and the width both are required. That is why the way to get more knowledge is by exerting the existing intellect with more intensity, is the approach that we take as students of science. But a yogi takes a completely different approach. Instead of trying to make the current intellect involved into a subject, he tries to expand the ability of the current intellect so that the width of the intellect encompasses the aspects of knowledge that wherever they are. And at the same time, the trigunas, the way they are combining with each other, we are not always privy to what is happening in Prakriti. Right now, right here, there are some trigunas which are coming together to form a dharma called storm. And the storm is going to come after 3 months on the coast of some particular sea or ocean. Right now, the process is on. We are not aware. We come to know only when it takes Murta Swarupa. Amurta Swarupa, we are not aware. Amurta Swarupa, those who are aware, to them a person like Jesus Christ says, pardon them, they do not know what they are doing, because he knows the future of those who were crucifying him. And he was worried about them, not about his wounds. The reason why Sadgurus and Gurus are compassionate is because when they see all of us, they know that, oh my God, how much is the backlog of this man and when is he going to reach? And that is why they pray for us. This is called compassion. So that itself means that the trigunas are ruling everywhere in the form of combination, recombination to create the dharmas and dharmis. And this process is going on in the Akashika records everywhere under the Prakriti, of which we know a minuscule part, being born as a particular jati. And for that particular jati, whatever we know is our universe. That is why world is what we perceive. Actual world is not what we perceive. Our ability to perceive or cognize being limited, our concept about the world is proportionate to our ability to cognize the world. Our ability itself is so poor that we never come to know the exact nature of any object anywhere. Then a question gets asked. There are gunas manifesting somewhere, but they are yet to manifest. They are combining, but they are not yet come under the radar of my ability. That which is not coming under the radar of my intellectual ability does not mean it doesn't exist. It is there. That means there is a avyakta prakruti and there is a vyakta vikruti. So the world that we perceive is vyakta vikruti. The world that is beyond our cognition is avyakta prakriti. And that which is presented to us looks like permanent, but it is moving constantly further. because there is nothing constant in this world. Why? Because gunas are a chanchala, and gunas combination, recombination keeps happening. But then the question comes, how can you say that gunas are chanchala? Sir, this cup is there since last 10 years with me. We see it as a 10-year-old cup, but in this 10 years of every second of 10 years, there is a change that has happened in this, which is not perceptible to me. This only when gets broken or destroyed or goes out of sight, because it becomes small pieces, and the pieces ultimately become the clay, I say it is destroyed. I say it is destroyed, but its destruction was on from day one when it was created. That means there is nothing that is there as an object or subject in this universe which is not undergoing continuous dissolution. Formation, dissolution, dissolution leading to new formation. That is why Utpatti Sthiti Laya is the only constant thing in the world. The Brahma, the Vishnu, and the Mahesha, in other words, the coordinating powers of the Prakriti, which are there for responsible for this combination of dharmas to create a new dharmi and immediately working on for its maintenance as well as for its dissolution, all the three forces are simultaneously working. No two experiences are same. Every time, with every minutest part of the time, millisecond, things are changing. The Buddhists focus their philosophy more on this. That is why Kshana Bhangura Vada, the Vijnana Vada of the Buddha Dharma, focuses completely on this. It says the entire thing in the world is like a queue of things. One is going, second is coming, third is going, fourth is coming. There is a continuous movement of incidences happening in front of us. They have given an example of a lamp, oil lamp, Deepa Jyoti. If you keep looking at the Deepa Jyoti, you will see it is constant. But it is not the same Jyoti. Every millisecond, new Jyoti is born because of the oil. The wick is burning. But for us, we perceive or cognize it as one continuous Jyoti. Our cognition is at fault. The moment, the continuous burning of the Jyoti is continuously on. Similarly, everything that we cognize and perceive is constantly undergoing a change, which is Vikruti. That is why it is called Kshana Bhangur or the Maik or Vinashi. This puts another question to us, and the question is, if the gunas are three, and we know that Sattva Guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna have different properties. But when the thing comes in front of us, when an object comes in front of us, for example, if this mug is Triguna-atmaka, then how is it that I do not see Sattva Guna separate in this, Rajoguna separate in this, Tamoguna separate in this? Each of them have different characters. How Trigunas together give Ekarupatva or Ekatva? Pravrutti, Prakasha Pravrutti and Sthiti Shilata is Sattva Rajatama. Prakasha means the knowledge part, the light. Pravrutti, the movement. Rajoguna is movement, Chanchalata. And Sthiti Shilata is Tamoguna. So that means Tamoguna will make you stationary. Alasya Nidra. It indicates Sthiti Shilata, no movement. Rajoguna, movement. Sattva-guna, neither of these two. Then when three of them come together, because everything is Trigunatmaka, how is it that we don't see all the three contrasting with each other? That is what precisely the 14th mantra talks about. Parinama ekatvat vastu tattvam. Patanjali Maharaj says, although everything is Trigunatmaka, the parinama, the effect that it produces is one. And that is one because of grahitru, or one who does the grahana. Let us take an example. A woman is walking on the road. And for us, what is woman? Prakruti. A combination of sattva, raja, tama guna is walking on the road. Now, when it is walking on the road, a tamoguni looks at the woman and gets different vrittis in the mind. So what is happening? He is seeing by tamoguna only the tamogunic aspect there. A Rajoguni will see the lady and say that, all right, if I make a lot of textile fabric for such women, it will be sold very well. I can make money out of it. Or I can use that lady as a model for my business. What has happened? Rajoguna has become active. While a sadhu, when he will look at her, he will say that a Devi is walking on the road. Now what happened? The lady is Trigunatmak. But the perception of that lady by the chitta of the perceiver is of three different types, simply because the trigunas created the parinama depending upon the chitta of the person who is cognizing. So that is why, although everything is trigunatmaka, the parinama is always a parinama rupa ekatvat. Parinama ekatvat is simply because perception depends upon the perception which guna will affect your chitta and what vrittis will come out of it. There is nothing which is not trigunatmak. But which guna will affect you? A snake came across the road. A tamoguni will torture the snake. A rajoguni will be fearful and will go run away from the snake. A sattva-guna will fold the hands and say, Nagaraj Maharaj, today you are here. The perception, the snake is same. That means perception without emotion, that means vritti, fails to elicit the judgmental response. If an object has failed to create a judgmental response, if a cognition has failed to create a judgmental response, then it loses its binding capacity. For example, when I was talking to you, there was a tissue paper box lying here. Now, this was seen by corner of my eye while I was speaking. But there was no emotional response with this particular tissue box, so it did not bind me. I was not thinking about it. I had perceived it. I had not given judgmental response about it. So perception without emotions eliciting judgmental response only binds. So judgment binds. Thus, what we perceive is not correct picture or reality of an object, but a mind-centric, ego-based perception, which is not the true reality of the object. Now we are coming from the nature of the objects, dharmi or the dharma, which is trigunatmaka. We are coming now towards the perceiver, the one who cognizes. That means things that are there in the universe are cognized by us to the best of our ability of our chitta, and also they are perceived not as what they are. They are perceived the way we think they are. A very important difference between the cognition of a yogi and cognition of a common man. Both see the thing. The difference lies in the fact that we never know the true nature of any object. Yogis know the true nature of all the objects. The true nature of the object is only accessible to the yogi. What is our mind, chitta? It is also trigunatmaka. What are the thoughts or the vrittis coming? They are also trigunatmaka. And what is the object? Object is also trigunatmaka. Now, how does the cognition or the perception takes place? The vibrations that are there in the form of vritti, when they meet an object and they corroborate with the vrittis of that object, then the object is perceived as per the vibrations of the mind. The object may be having 1,000 vibrations of different types. Only 10 types of vibrations are perceived by my mind. So for me, that object is only of those 10 vibratory things, 10 vibration types. So the true nature of an object in entirety is never known to us. We call elephant an elephant, but we do not know what the elephant is. Incidentally, the limitation of the chitta of all the observers being the same, a vyavhar takes place. The friend also says, look at the elephant. I also say, what a nice elephant, because all of us have same amount of restriction as far as elephant is concerned. When the vibrations of the chitta, that is vritti, are developed in a particular way or a manner, then you see certain new things. A scientist and a common man, the difference is his way of perceiving the things is much different and higher. What is a research scientist? He has developed a specific ability to create the vritti, the vichara, to perceive a different aspect of the nature of an object, and he comes out with an invention or a discovery. I look at the sky, and an astronomer looks at the sky. The difference is his ability, his vibrations, his vrittis that correspond with the thing there. For that, he may use an instrument to increase the capacity of his jnanendriya. That is a different thing. But what is actually happening is, to know the nature of an object, unless in entirety all the vibrations of that object are one with the vibrations of my mind, I shall not know the entirety the true nature of an object. That is why, if at all we decide to know the true nature of any object, because if you decide to know the nature of one object, then the same technique can be used to know the nature of any object. That being the case, meditation is done only on one object. You don't have to meditate first on Krishna, then on Vishnu, then on Nandi, then on the scooter, then on this. No, only one object, because the technique is same. Once you know how to prepare tea, you can prepare tea, make tea anytime, because you know the technique of making the tea. So in order to know the true nature of an object, what we do is we try to find out why I am not able to know the true nature of an object. And then I realize that my vritti, my vibrations, when I put it into a particular object to know its nature, I am not able to put my vibrations on it because they dissipate. They go towards some other object. I need to bring them on the same object for sufficient time so that I can know more and more about the nature of an object. We are trying to learn the technique of meditation. If there is no correspondence between the vibrations of the mind or the chitta, that is vritti, and the vibrations of an object, cognition cannot take place. Let's take an example. Right now, Qutub Minar is standing in Delhi, but we are not able to cognize it. Why? Vibrations of my mind are not reaching there. Why? Because it is far off. Far off is an inhibition. Far off is a prohibition for me. I'm prohibited from seeing the Qutub Minar because my eyes cannot reach Qutub Minar right now because of the distance involved. Now the question is, why? That means I have limitations on my vibrations or on my vrittis of my chitta to reach there. But can I reach there? You can reach there. How? By developing the ability to transcend the distances. How can I transcend the distance? By focusing on Qutub Minar. How long? Till the time none else comes into the way when you are concentrating on that object. Dissolution of distance as a prohibitory factor is possible only through concentration. That means each and everything in this Prakriti is Trigunatmak and is in the state of flux, constantly changing. That means in vibrations. Your own Chitta and Vritti is also in vibrations. When these two vibrations correspond with each other, cognition takes place. That means we may be having vibrations which do not reach to all the vibrations around us. So there are superior vibrations and inferior vibrations which we don't see. The spirits or the ghosts, as we call them, we don't see them. Why? Our vibrations of our Chitta Vritti cannot grasp them. Similarly, things in heaven we can't see because vibrations, vrittis of our Chitta cannot reach there. So that means an object is nothing else but vibrations of guna. Cognizer, perceiver, subject is also nothing else but the vibrations of guna. Only when the vibrations that match the guna we are able to see or cognize of, and those which we cannot vibrate with, we cannot cognize. That is why the most famous shloka in Bhagavad Gita, Guna Guneshu Vartante. Guna, my vibrations, my vrittis of my chitta, which is also part of Prakriti, cognizes the other one. That means my gunas recognize the guna in others. When the shake hand of gunas take place, cognition takes place. The question is only of the extent and the depth. The extent and the depth is proportionate to our ability to completely penetrate into an object to know the true nature. During every karya utpatti, Triguna Parinam comes into one particular effect. Now, with this understanding of Trigunas and their way of acting, it is clear to understand, or it is easier to understand the 15th mantra, Vastu Samye Chitta Bhedat Vibhaktaha Panthaha. Vastu Samye. Even though an object is one, the knowledge is different. It is clear that the object and the knowledge are two different paths. Now we are coming to a little subtler aspect of the philosophy. This is an object that we are going to perceive. Everybody cognizes this object as a mug or a cup. But mind well, even though the shape or the roop of that object is cognized in the similar manner by all the chittas, all of us, our jnana, knowledge that it is a mug, and the mug, are they one or are they two? That means we are coming to a very fundamental question. An object exists because I see, or the object is there and I see it. In other words, any object in the universe is there because I perceive it, I cognize it, or it has, its own existence. This is a typical fight between two grand philosophical speculations called idealism and realism. Is the world an idea in my mind, or the world has its own existence? This is an important point which is there in this Kaivalyapada. The next 3-4 sutras are all hovering around this particular aspect. And Sankhyas have completely wrested this doubt once forever. If we look at the Western philosophy, it is replete with the fight between idealism and realism. Idealism says that the world is not existing, it is in the mind. So if your mind is there, world is there. Mind is not there, world is not there. Realistic people say that whether the mind is there or not, world exists. When you die, doesn't mean that the world is gone. World is there. So that means an object is existing by itself, or it is existing because I see. I see, so it is there, or it is there, so I see. Independent existence of an object, an independent existence of a chitta or the jnana. So which one of this is true? The object was there, so I saw it, or my mind perceived it, so the object is there. Both are possible. Both are possible. In the dark, all of a sudden we see somebody sitting there. There is nobody there. There is no object. Didn't we perceive it? That means mind has ability to perceive a thing even if it is not existing. Then what is the guarantee that what I see is actually existing, or it is vehem of my mind? Is it a superstition that I feel that it is existing? Because my mind is projecting it. In other words, am I in the world, or the world is in me? The fight between existence of separate object and separate subject. Object having its own reality, subject, knowledge having its own reality. That means vastu and vastu jnana. Are these two different things, or they are one? Vastu samye chitta bhedatayoho vibhaktaha pantaha. Sankhya Tattvajnan says, chitta bhedat vibhaktaha pantaha. Vastu and chitta, which gives us knowledge, the intellect and the knowledge created, these are two different things. Even if you don't have knowledge about a thing, that doesn't mean a thing doesn't exist. Whatever comes within the capacity of your intellect, you become aware of. That doesn't mean that which you are not aware of is not existing. Which itself means the vastu or the object has separate existence, and the knowledge that I get out of that object or vastu has separate existence. Vibhakta pantha. So that is why now Patanjali Maharaj is entering into the aspect of idealism versus realism. The ability or the possibility of existence by itself is the matter of discussion for the coming sessions. So far, what is discussed here is about how every object is trigunatmaka, how every object is nothing else but the combination of dharmas. So the dharma and the dharmi, holder of the dharmas is dharmi, how it is in a continuous flux. how Prakriti is constantly moving and constantly modifying because of modifications of gunas, how we are not able to see them continuously moving forward as well as in the backward side, because of which we divide them into Vartamana, past and the future, Atita, Anagata, Vardhamana. So this is what so far we have seen. Now Patanjali Maharaj is embarking upon what is exactly Vrittidnya, or what is exactly perception. What is cognition? What do you mean by I see a thing? What do you mean by I touch a thing? What do you mean by I see the world? That is why he's coming now to Mule Kutaraha. He's coming to the root of the perception itself or the cognition itself, which is the subject of oncoming sessions. Hari Om. Om Purnamada Purnam Midam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Thank you, Sanjay ji. We'll wait for some questions.
Yeah, Hari Om, Sanjay ji, Rajendran here. I have two questions. 9th chapter Bhagavad Gita says in 4th stanza, Maya tadamidam sarvam jagad avyakta murtina matstani sarva bhutani na chaham teshu avastida. Which means everything is in me and I am not in them. So this goes very well with the this idea, isn't it?
Yes, very much so.
Now my second question is, there is a book called The World is Only an Idea, written by Bishop Berkeley.
Yes. Yes.
So we are going to contradict with this idea with our, isn't it?
Absolutely. Berkeley was one of the staunch idealists in Western philosophy. And
Yeah.
Berkeley actually started becoming a philosopher from a priest. One day he was sitting in a chair and he started questioning himself that I am sitting in the chair. What is the proof of this? It was a funny question, but he took it to a philosophical level. And then he said that the only witness to the fact that I am sitting in the chair, this knowledge that I am sitting in the chair, is nothing else but my perception, my cognition. Now, whether I'm actually sitting in the chair or not, doesn't matter. That means I may get a cognition that I'm sitting in the chair when I'm not sitting in the chair. Then he stretched it further to the realm of idealism, in which he said that whatever I perceive is nothing else but the perception of an idea by my own mind. That idea may not exist. That means everything that I know as knowledge is nothing else but my own idea. And that is why idealism means that ability of your mind to ideate upon things around you is your world. The actual and the factual thing I am never aware of. In fact, he went a step forward saying that there is nothing actually existing. What you think it is existing is your own idea in your mind. That is why he said there is no world as such. It is just an idea. That is Berkeley's idealism. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you. Thank you.
Hari Om, Sanjay ji.
Yeah.
Thank you for the excellent class today. Now we are talking about this yogis. They have got the ability to see the past, present, and future. And we, as unexpanded memory or consciousness, we have limited ability to see. Now, when yogi sees a object, different ideas or different perceptions is coming to his mind. With limited expansion, our mind is getting disturbed with the worldly things or the day-to-day things we are seeing. Is yogi is not disturbed similarly, just inquisitive. That's all.
No, it's a very good question. The disturbances that a common man gets is because of presence of even a woman on the road will disturb your mind. A woman on the screen will disturb your mind. So our disturbances come mainly because of anything that is around us. Yogi, when he tries to go into higher realm of consciousness, he does get disturbed, but not by these common things. He gets disturbed by his old vasanas, or sometimes even the fact that I want to help somebody is a disturbing factor. Mind well, Shukla Karma, Shukla Vasana is also a disturbing factor. So that is why as he goes up, he does get disturbances. But the realized yogi has already transcended the Prakruti. So he is like the one who is sitting out of the ocean and observing the ocean. So he doesn't get disturbed by the ocean because he is not in the ocean. Disturbances come when you are inside the water. He is standing on the bank. It is called Sakshi Bhutata. He is a Sakshitva. Who can have Sakshitva? Only the Purusha or the Atman. So the one who has become Atma Swarupa, for him, all this is known to him, but he is not part of it. That is why, as right now Rajendranji said, everything exists in me, but I am not in them. That means nothing disturbs them only when you reach the Purusha stage. Up to Purusha stage, disturbances are there. They are called pratibandha, and we saw what type of pratibandhas are there. But those pratibandhas are of a refined type. For example, a person who is meditating, for him, like Vivekananda, complained to Thakur that when I'm meditating, the bell of the temple disturbs the concentration. It is a disturbance. But his disturbance was during meditation, this disturbance is coming. What is our disturbance? Oh, I cannot concentrate on anything. So we have gross disturbances. They have subtle disturbances. One part. Second part, yogi is able to see past and future and the entire Prakruti. So we feel that, he's able to see somebody who is dead 40 births back, somebody who's going to come after 40 births. Yes. But more than that, he is able to see subtle things like vasanas. Now, we can't see a vasana as a shape or a roop, but vasanas are existing. So where are those vasanas? Those intangible, subtle things, subtler and subtler things are visible to the yogis. And then he comes to know that that was my vasana, which is lurking there, floating in the Akashika records. I need to get rid of it. So again, he sits into meditation and concentration. So this is how disturbances are there, but of a refined type, till the yogi reaches Nirbija Samadhi. Hari Om.